Hello there and welcome back to another video. I have been away for a little while and I'll tell you exactly why as quickly as I can. I got the coronavirus a couple of weeks ago and it was genuinely one of the most horrific things I've ever been through in my entire life, personally. It was debilitating completely. Couldn't do anything. I've never felt like that in my entire life and I just couldn't do anything. And this was leading up to when, obviously we were playing Man City or something like that before the international break. I couldn't do anything. I could barely move out of my own living room. It was horrendous. So I've been trying to get over that, still sort of getting over it at the moment. It kind of hit me quite badly, like with pretty much every symptom on the list, not just like a couple or one or two here or there. Pretty much every single symptom that you see on a list is every single symptom that I got. So moving forward, hopefully things are going to get back to normal videos wise. But I got to tell you, I absolutely missed making videos. I really, really did. And there was so much that we could have talked about and so many things that we could have gone through. But honestly, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. So here we are today. Tonight we're playing Leicester, and I'm feeling much more alive today. So I felt let's go for it. Let's try and do what we can, talk about what we can, and go through everything that we possibly can before we come up against Leicester tonight. Because make no mistake, before I get into this as well, before I say make no mistake, I hope you guys are doing very, very well indeed, and I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, staying safe, and staying away from this virus, because I do not recommend it for anyone. Even if you want a couple of weeks off work, don't get it. It's horrible. Make no mistake though, coming up against Leicester, it's going to be a tough game. Now, this is two teams, us more so, I would say, but two teams that are suffering from injury problems. I'm going to go through Leicester's ones first that are listed here. Probably the most notable one for these guys is Wilfred Ndidi is out missing. Pereira is a long-term one. I think he's been missing since a little bit of last season as well. Soyuncu is missing, and also so is Amati as well. But they're still going to have a very, very strong midfield, still going to have a very solid defensive base that they've had so far this season, with the likes of Johnny Evans, Fofana, who came from Saint Etienne, I think it was, and Christian Fuchs. Then you've got Castagne and James Justin, either whether they play as a 3 at the back or a 5 at the back. These guys can act as wing backs or wingers. They're good and adept at doing both. So they're very good at doing that. The midfield as well could see Tielemans and Mendy as well in there, and that'll be good for these guys. Then you've got the likes of Dennis Pratt, James Maddison, obviously Jamie Vardy. Beautiful appearance from my cat here. But yeah, they're gonna be able to pick a strong team, and it's still gonna be a difficult team to come up against as well. But make no mistake, even though Liverpool ourselves, even though we're suffering from injuries as well, she's trying to get through the curtain, even though we're suffering from some major injuries, some big injuries as well, and a lot of players are simply out missing, we should still be able to field quite a strong team, in my opinion. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below about what Liverpool can field, and whether you feel a little bit confident, not confident, or what do you think is going to happen in this game. Because to be honest, the more that I think about it, the more that I look at things, and the more that I try and look at who's coming back available possibly for this game, I'm not saying that we should expect to go out there and beat Leicester and beat them handily, like we did last season. I think we won 4-0 around Christmas time. I still think that we can put out a competitive team. We're missing a good few key players. That is an absolute certain, and I want to go through our injury list here. Now, the ones that are definitely listed as out is Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Jordan Henderson, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, although he's posted a lot of things on social media recently that sort of suggest he's on his way back. Mohamed Salah, because of the 3 positive coronavirus tests that he's returned, and obviously Virgil van Dijk. Now, doubtful is listed as Thiago and Fabinho. Now, I don't expect Thiago to come into this game, purely because of how Jurgen Klopp has talked about him, saying he's almost there, he's almost ready, but we're not going to rush him back. And to me, that suggests that he's not going to be playing in this game. But what we should still be able to do, let's talk about the defence and that first. What we should still be able to do is put out some good players that will be able to do a good job for us. They're not going to do the first team level job, perhaps, but they'll still be able to do a good job. And as a team collective, they should still be able to work hard enough for each other and tactically for each other as well, that we shouldn't be expecting to get steamrolled by Leicester, in my opinion. They carry so many threats, but so do we, even with the players that we're missing. Even though we're going to be missing Salah, we're going to miss the leadership of Jordan Henderson, we're going to be missing Trent Alexander-Arnold, but there's still players that we can bring in that I feel we should be doing well with. Now, I talked about Thiago not being available for this game, but I think that, by the murmurings and things on social media and things that are said in press conferences, it kind of looks like Fabinho is in contention to play in this game or play a role in this game, and it just depends where he plays. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I think that if he has even a sliver of a chance of playing, then he has to play in midfield. He needs to play in midfield, in my opinion. He's good as a centre-back, he really is. There's nothing wrong. If Fabinho lines up as a centre-back today, like next to Joel Matip or something like that, got no issues with it, because every time Fabinho's played centre-back for Liverpool, he's been absolutely magnificent. He's been very, very good. But I want to see that in midfield, because I think that we would need it. I really do feel that. So what that would mean for me in terms of a lineup for the back line, we should be having Alisson in goal. It should be Nico Williams, Joel Matip, possibly Nat Phillips and Andy Robertson in goal, in the back line for Liverpool. And I think that that's a good back line, in my opinion. Nat Phillips, when he's played for us, he's done very well. Looks solid. Yes, no one is a Van Dijk, or maybe even not even a Joe Gomez, but he looked very, very good. In fact, I think he got a man of the match performance. It might have been against Sheffield United, if I remember rightly. But regardless of who it was against, he had a very, very good game, very good, solid Premier League debut. And if Nat Phillips lines up with Joel Matip, who again, Joel Matip, when he's come back, looks very, very good, in my opinion, then that's a good pairing, in my opinion, as well. Two guys that can not only pass the ball forward nicely, but are defensively very, very good as well. Along with Andy Robertson on the left-hand side, gives you a lot more steel and grit. Someone that's also going to probably be the main outball on the width as well. And then you got Nico Williams on the right-hand side, who is probably the player that people would question the most, because when he's played for Liverpool in the first team, he hasn't always defensively looked very, very good. Sometimes gets caught too far up the pitch. And that's just a fact. Sometimes it happens to Trent as well, but Trent is much more adept at getting back, much more... he just gets back a little bit better, in my opinion. That'll come with Nico Williams as well. He's a young player, and he's going to be taking that role of playing at right back and trying to be a creative outlet for us as well. So we've just got to give him the time that he needs, and give him the support as well that he'll need as well. But I'm fully confident that back line, we're gonna play a high line. That is an absolute fact, and these players haven't played as a combination together, if at all, really. Obviously, Matip and Andy Robertson will have played together, but as a whole four, they won't have played a great deal. But I still think that they can do well. And if they need that additional support, then that's where I think Fabinho in the midfield can offer that. I've said it before about Fabinho, where he has the ability to drop in behind, alongside the centre-backs if need be, or be the guy that can be in front of them and take that ball forward as well. This also depends a lot on how Liverpool decide to line up, whether they go with a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. For me, in my mind, I'm looking at a 4-2-3-1, and I think that we could be looking at your two holding players of Fabinho and Gini Wijnaldum. Now, we've got to make a concession and say if Fabinho isn't available to start, then it's most likely going to be... let me think. I'm just having a random thought here. Random thoughts. Right, so what I'm thinking that we could do is if Fabinho isn't playing, you got options of James Milner, or you've also got an option of Naby Keita. Now, people would probably prefer to play Naby Keita a little bit further forward, especially in the 4-2-3-1, maybe as that central sort of attacking player. But I think that Naby Keita could actually really be quite key in breaking up the play as a secondary, central defensive midfielder or whoever. So I think you could look at Naby Keita and a Jorginho Wijnaldum partnership there if Fabinho isn't fit to start the game. But if we have Fabinho, then I'm going with Fabinho, Gini Wijnaldum, and then into the front four. Obviously, we're going to be missing Mohamed Salah. So you've got to look at the fact that we're probably going to end up playing Bobby Firmino, but might be playing the forward role. Then we could have Diogo Jota playing on the right-hand side. And I say the right-hand side purely because he's better with both feet, in my opinion, than Sadio Mane. But Mane can play on the right-hand side as well. There's a lot of fluidity. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of changing of positions that these guys can do between each of them. They can each play any of these positions. So I'm confident, regardless of however they set up, that they'll be able to do that. So we're going with, for me, in my mind, I'm going with Firmino up top. Then it's going to be Diogo Jota, right-hand side, Shaqiri as the number 10, sort of maybe the guy in behind the striker, and then Mane on the left-hand side. And when I look at that, so I'm going to run through that starting 11 once again. Alisson, Nico Williams, Joel Matip, Nat Phillips, Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Gini Wijnaldum, Mane, Shaqiri, Jota, and Firmino. No one can tell me that that isn't a good enough attack or a good enough team as a whole to at least be competitive and try to win the game. There's no one that can tell me any different. There really isn't. It's not like we're lining up with, say, like Lazar Markovic and stuff like that. We're not lining up with these types of guys and Samid Yezel and all this sort of stuff. We're not lining up with that sort of lineup. This is still a very strong Liverpool lineup that we can potentially put out. And I think that we should be able to put out a good, decent lineup like that and be competitive in this game. That's just what I think personally. We should still be looking to win this game, still going out there. Not everything doom and gloom. And all right, we're seeing other teams like you're seeing Tottenham win very convincingly over what looked like a very disjointed Man City team. Yesterday, we've seen Everton win just 3-2 against Fulham. You're seeing Man United get quite lucky in winning 1-0 in their game that was against West Brom. So you're looking at these results coming in, and I think we're the last game of the weekend at 7:15. People, and obviously we're coming up against Leicester, we're coming up against Brendan Rodgers, we're at home. We don't last thing, I don't want to lose at home at all, but I don't want it to be to a Brendan Rodgers-led team at all. I really, really don't. No disrespect to Brendan Rodgers whatsoever. I don't want Liverpool losing our incredible home record that we have against Brendan Rodgers. I don't want us to lose it at all, but not against Brendan, character Rodgers. I don't want it. So, how do I see this game going down? I think it's gonna depend on the intensity that we can go out there with, if I'm being honest. If we can go out there with good attacking intensity, fluidity, even any way that we played like we did against Man City, even though we were under the cosh a lot in the second half against Man City as well. But I think if we go out there and we play our game, we go out there and we try and play fluid attacking football, but try and keep defensively solid as well. And if we can bring any of our Champions League form into this game, then we should be looking to win this game. I'm not saying we're going to keep a clean sheet, but we might. I'm not entirely sure. But I do think that Liverpool can go out there and win this game, but I think it's going to be really, really difficult. In my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be more of a draw. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win, though. I think that we can go out there and get the win. I don't think it's going to be like smashing loads of goals in left, right and centre. I just don't think it's going to be that open of a game, in my opinion, anyway. A lot of it could depend on how Leicester decide to set up as well. If they go 3 at the back and we play our front 4 or a front 3, if we go for a 4-3-3, then yeah, it could be a little bit more open season for Liverpool in terms of attack. But I just think that it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a tough game. It's a really late evening game as well. I just hope that we can go out there and put on a good performance regardless of what happens. but I still think that we should be able to go out there and win the game, and we should be able to go out there and win 2-1, in my opinion anyway. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Get your comments in below. It's great to be back making a video, and if anything, because it's such a late night game and I start work at like 3 or 4 in the morning, the review will probably be out tomorrow night. So it won't be out straight away after the game, because I'll most likely just knock the game straight off and go to bed, because that's just what I'll need to do. So the review will probably come out. It'll be Monday night. But let me know what you think in the comments below. What's going to happen in this game? Can Liverpool win it, or is it going to be open season for Leicester, and can they actually take away our unbeaten home record? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you once again. Have a great day, and I'll catch you later.